In this episode,
I don't get the science behind it, so I can't wrap my head around it.
So I used to be a Sea Bernie guy.
Okay.
I'm just going to tell you when a nuclear detonation happens, especially with kind of the modern nuclear warheads that we have now, there's a bunch of magic dust in there that just ruins everything. It burns you alive, and it ruins electronics.
Okay.
That's
well, there you go.
the super scientific.
Happy 2024, guys.
in an obtuse world, Mark and Jefe will combine military, law enforcement, and general FUD knowledge to keep you vertical. Welcome to the Live, Laugh, Larp podcast.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? Thanks for joining us for Season 2, Episode 1 of the Live, Laugh, Larp podcast. It is the new year. Happy 2024. I hope you guys had a great new year and holiday season. Let's get into this new year with some thoughts about expectations for the new year and stuff like that. But before we get any further, we have to say hello to the co-host, Jefe. What's going on, man?
New year, new me. That's what the motto I always live by.
It is.
Never changes, but
Yep, it never changes.
never changes.
Yeah.
My resolution is to be the same useless person as I was.
My waistline's changing.
And not for the good.
For the
Not
good.
for the good.
Maybe this year, though. Maybe this year it will.
Well, so I'm pretty stoked. I was really worried. Last year I was starting to bust into the 34 waistline. I'm back down to 32 is a little snug, and if you could find a 33, which I don't know why they don't make more of them, but
yeah, I don't either.
33 is a hard one to find. But
seems like even numbers is usually the right thing.
Well, I think it's completely wrong. But anyways, no, we're excited. It's a couple days before the new year. We just want to get something knocked out, so we're not worried about hanging out in the girlfriend's basement recording a podcast when we're supposed to be hanging out with families. Because
that or
apparently they get mad. People get mad when you ditch family to record a podcast.
Wow,
about guns.
I don't know about those people. So, but. Anyway, yeah.
You don't need those people in your life.
Technically, it is a couple of days before the new year, but I'm doing some traveling. Jefe's doing some traveling, so we wanted to pull this together.
Gonna go cut up some narpow up in Colorado.
Yeah. So
hope I don't yard sale.
I'm telling you, man, I would love to be doing that too. I miss skiing so much.
I snowboard. I'm a real man.
Oh, that's right.
I don't pizza and French fries. I just Jaeger bomber face plant.
Yeah, that's right. I tried snowboarding. Went to that little man-made hill outside of Kansas City.
Yeah,
Weston.
Snow Creek, Snow Pass.
Creek, yeah, something like that. And I just, I don't know.
Well,
I couldn't get it. Like
I talked about last episode, Snow Creek, I think it's what's called. They do the same thing as Europe, is they groom trails. Mm-hmm. So it's once the sun starts hitting those slopes, it turns it to a big ice sheet, which makes it okay for skiing. It makes it a little bit difficult, but snowboarding, when you're supposed to be cutting into things and you're not, it makes it super not fun.
Yeah. And it was afternoon when we were doing the lesson, so
probably 70 degrees outside on some fake ass snow.
No, actually, that day the high was 11.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it was pretty dang cold. But this episode is not talking about all of that. We're going to be talking about what 2024 is going to bring. We're going to be talking about SHOT Show, because that's coming up here pretty soon.
The biggest event of the year.
Dun, dun, dun. That
besides Toyotathon.
That is right.
As Toyota owners, yes. Toyotathon's near and dear to our hearts.
It is. I just wish that they would release a Hilux.
They do. It's called the Tacoma, man.
It's not a Tacoma. It's a Tacoma Plus.
It's a rebranded Tacoma. That's all it is.
Look, I just want to see a freaking 50 cal mount on the back of a Tacoma. Then I guess that's
get the Cybertruck. Apparently, that's supposed to have a very good roof clearance for technical use. You can actually get 360 on it. I can't remember. That was a meme from when they announced that.
Yeah. Which are all being recalled.
Already?
Yeah. All of the Tesla cars are being recalled. Something like 2 million cars.
Well, so I saw that, and if you read in the fine print, when they say recall, it means they need a software update. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. Yeah. And it will do it overnight without you even noticing. And then
there you go. Yep. So there is that. But before we get any deeper into this podcast, naturally, we have to say a huge thank you to our sponsor, Atero Arms. Thank you so very much for sponsoring our autistic rants about things that I don't know if very many people care about. I do know that
this shirt is soft as fuck. That's what I know.
It is, right? So I finally got the gift pack to Hefe with all of the really cool stuff.
We hang out like 3 times a week, and it's been about a month since I've seen my Atero Arms t-shirt, which is great quality shirt.
It is
next level apparel.
Yeah, that's like the best. That is like
feels like husband material.
It is. Yeah. So
feels like J-frame acro mount materials.
That is right. So Atero, I know you're listening. J-frame acro mount.
You promised me. I have the note. I have the evidence.
Yep. He's got all the DMs. Jeff likes to slide into the DMs from time to time, so there is that.
And no one knows it's me from this. I mean, granted, we just looked at the analytics. What do we have? Like probably 1,000.
Yeah,
about 1,000 listeners.
Yeah. And what was surprising is some of the locations that we were getting some downloads from.
So. I wonder if Romania was my fault.
It probably was.
Probably. That was weird. I saw that one. I was like, Romania. That's
Romania. Yeah. And then we have like our second most listened to area is just outside the DC area,
Fredericksburg.
Yeah,
Fredericksburg, Virginia. So to our ATF and FBI agents, this is all a joke. This is all that's happening in Minecraft.
Yep, for legal purposes, Minecraft. So there is that. All right, so again, thank you to Atero Arms. We really do appreciate. And if there's anybody else out there that would like to sponsor the podcast so that we can, travel a little bit more, maybe this year, you think?
So we were talking about getting some friends on the show for season 2.
Yeah.
So it would help out.
We'd like to improve our setup here a little bit so that we can have some guests on board. So that would be cool.
On this casting couch in the basement.
It's literally on a couch. If you guys are following us on Instagram, you'll see videos of us recording from time to time, and it is literally one of these pop-up coffee tables with a couch, like a U-shaped couch, and it's totally a casting couch. So, but let's get into the expectations of 2024. I believe personally that this is the year that the wheels come off the bus. I think that this is we're already starting to see it right now. I am not as positive as a person as I typically am. I am very apprehensive of how this year is going to actually transpire from a holistic point of view. I mean, we've already seen, from a political standpoint, we've seen that Colorado has taken the decision to remove a candidate off of the election for 2024.
The primary. Just the primary.
Oh, it's the primary.
It's just the primary. So don't get too up in arms just yet. It's just from the primary.
Well, see, that's what you get when you only read the headline. Mm-hmm. But what I did find out, and that was really interesting, is that the Chief Justice of the Colorado Supreme Court dissented that decision.
Yep.
And for a Chief Justice to dissent was a very interesting take as well. So.
Well, and so a couple things with that. One is it's already been stayed. Now, granted, the stay is only till I think January 4th is the day before. It's stayed until the day before they actually have to print the ballots for the primaries. So it gives at least some time for due process to happen.
Yep.
And then the second thing about it too is the GOP already has come out and said, hey, if this is going to be a thing, we'll just do a caucus like we do in Iowa, the Iowa caucus. Yeah, do a caucus instead of a primary, and we'll just go off of that. So it's not all doom and gloom just yet, but there's some. So this is definitely one of those. We are going to post the headline and hope people read the headline and react just to the headline.
Yeah, that's fair. But we're also seeing like a massive psyop right now, in my opinion. A massive psyop. We're seeing like the new movie on Netflix.
Civil War.
Well, you have Civil War. Yes, that's one.
Actually, the movie looks. I'm a little upset that they made Kansas the loyalty.
Right?
Yeah, it's like
that is not no.
That doesn't sound like us at all. But
no. All right. So for people who don't know history about Kansas, we fought our own Civil War prior to the Civil War to become a free state.
This is actually, I saw something that was pretty funny. Someone was asking for Kansas to start doing the Bleeding Colorado after this after this recent decision.
So if you guys don't know about that, let's see, it was Captain Cantrell. He rode into Lawrence, Kansas, and burned the entire city to the ground. Because he was pro-slavery and he was trying to strike fear into the territory of Kansas so that they would become a slave state. And that was one of their tactics. It didn't seem to work out, but now we're trying to say that maybe we should do that to Colorado. But I don't know. You get a lot of people from Kansas into Colorado, and they'll start breathing pretty heavy, because the oxygen levels. But
hell, the whole Harper's Ferry, the guy that did Harper's Ferry was from Wamego.
Yeah,
he's like they have the museum, they have the church. I can't remember what they call the gun. I think it was Gunpowder Rifle Church.
The Rifle Bible Church.
Rifle Bible Church.
Yep.
Where John Brown took all his people, said, screw it, we're going to head east and kill everybody.
Yeah, and which is also really cool because if you've ever seen the album cover to the band Kansas, that's John Brown, the famous big, long, bearded guy with a Bible in one hand and a rifle in the other hand. That mural is painted in the state capitol in Kansas, and they've done a movie or a series about him with Ethan Hawke.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
But it was just, I think I saw it on X or something where they're calling for Bleeding Colorado.
That's
for Kansans to rise up.
So you've got Civil War, and then you've got Leave the World Behind, which is another, like, it just came out maybe a week or two ago on Netflix, and it's about what would we do if there was a systematic degradation of our society from outward forces, right? And incidentally, let's see, it was Barack Obama or both of the Obamas were executive producers on that movie.
Oh, yeah. I remember, I had no idea what it was called, but I remember hearing people getting up in arms about it because, like, in the beginning, it was very like anti-white propaganda. At least that's what the news article said.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it is Netflix, so
or you can watch I think it's still on Netflix. Maybe there was a TV series called Jericho.
Oh,
this
right.
This is like a 2006 thing, but
it's pretty
essentially old. It was the same thing. It was like slow degradation where the U.S. got nuked by somebody, and Jericho is this fictitious town out in middle of nowhere, Kansas.
Yeah,
and is watching how society kind of fell from there as well.
Yeah. So the other interesting thing too, which we keep on talking about Kansas, but we were just doing an autistic deep dive into like EMPs, right? And there was a study done that basically said that if a EMP is detonated 250 miles above Kansas, it would wipe out all electronics within the United States.
Yeah, we would be ground zero. We would definitely be the first to go.
Yeah, exactly.
If a nuclear war happened, everyone talks about DC and it's going to be Kansas, man. They're gonna hit us hard because it's going to ruin
everything.
Everything.
Yeah. So, but I started doing the math in my head, and I'm like, 250 miles. That's space. How can that even? How could that even happen in a vacuum, though? I don't get the science behind it, so I can't wrap my head around it.
So I used to be a Seaburny guy.
Okay.
I'm just going to tell you when a nuclear detonation happens, especially with kind of the modern nuclear warheads that we have now. There's a bunch of magic dust in there that just ruins everything. It burns you alive, and it ruins electronics.
Okay.
That's the super scientific.
Happy 2024, guys.
So 2024, I think, is... I'm going to take a little bit different take on it. It's more of... it's not the downfall. This is the year to start preparing for it, I guess, or start. We always talk about, hey, you need to go get training. You need to go start getting ready. Like 2024 could be it. Like this is the no later date.
Yeah.
So this is a good year to, if you already have a couple rifles, start looking at getting training instead. If you already have kit and you have ammo, start looking at, some of this other additional skills you might need, like lock picking, bushcraft, some survival stuff.
Yeah.
Start building your communities. This is the hey, we've passed the acquisition phase or getting close to the end of it, and this is this time to start training, to start actually getting things set up for, God forbid, anything were to happen, because 2025 essentially is going to be where that proverbial shit hits the biblical fan.
Yeah, I firmly believe that 100%. And one of the things that I have really considered, especially over these last couple of weeks, I just dropped a video about my Car 15 build, and that's doing great on the YouTube channel. So if you guys are interested in following me on the YouTubes,
the Blood Diamond build, it's not a Black Hawk down build, but
well,
it had too much green to be a Black Hawk down.
Well, yeah, I suppose, but it got me thinking. I have several different rifles and pistols and stuff like that.
In Minecraft.
And it's time to start becoming a little bit more specific in everything that I'm doing. Instead of just like grasping at all of these different, jackals and caramels and AR-15 retro A2 carry handle stuff and what's the next coolest AK whatever, something or other, start pulling back in and focus on one thing and one thing only. I've got a BCM Mark II that has all my IR stuff on it, and it's got the EOTech EXPS3 whatever on a Unity riser, and I'm going to get a magnifier to go with it, and so on and so forth. So it's like completely decked out. It's going to be my legit go to war rig, but it's been on my wall, and I haven't shot it since summer. So
I mean, we were talking about before, you're kind of in a unique position since part of your shtick is to acquire firearms, test them, review them,
right?
So everyone has an idea of what to expect, things to maybe buy, maybe pass on, or something to do a little bit more research on. But for the general public, there's a kind of a quality in having a single rifle that's purpose driven, that has a lot of time, effort, and money into that single rifle, instead of having 10 or 15 rifles that you spread your funds across. I like to use myself as example in my gun collection. Again, if it's on heirloom, if it's not something, if it's not purpose driven, it goes away, and gets replaced, or those funds get moved to upgrading or making what I have better. Yeah. So instead of having 10 or 15 ARs, I got one AR that's set up the way I like it, and that's it. I had an AK for a little bit. That had to go away because it's not part of the system that I have. I think we're at the stage where you should have your system, your go to wars, your daily carry, like whatever you want to call it, have all that kit in a spot, and it's time to start actually using it, training it, playing around with it to make sure it all works.
Yep. And then we've already talked about it in past couple of episodes. This is the year for me to really start working on all of the soft skills, right? So
soft skills. So yeah. So I understand. Like, I would love that term to mean it's one of those terms that's already been used. Soft skills it's an actual term in like business. It's it's negotiations, communications, leadership, that kind of stuff, where it's something that you have to either be innately good at it, innately good at it, or practice it and train, or essentially train with it, or you don't have it compared to it's the same thing with hardware and software. Like I can go buy as many rifles as I want, but if I don't have the basic fundamentals of marksmanship, if I don't have all the software behind it, that hardware doesn't do me any good. So soft skills and hard skills are the exact same thing.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That is 100% fair. So some of the things that I'm looking at doing and some of the expectations that I'm putting on myself for 2024 is tons of first aid stuff.
Yeah.
I want to really dive deep into first aid, lock picking.
Yep.
That's something that I have dabbled in. I have defeated 2 locks on different things on my property in Wyoming, which was really exciting and makes it extremely addictive.
Yep. No, it does.
But a lot of those different things. So what else should I be thinking about besides the I would say, medical stuff, the fringe software like lock picking? What do you think some of the other things?
So kind of hark to a couple people. Adam Holroyd with Spirit of Systems, obviously. Grantham has a couple videos about it. And then Marcus with Skypire Actual Cloak. I mean, that's going to be like a long title right there. Marcus, who's Skypire Actual, who created Cloaked Entry company, and his wife Maya. They a lot of what they first tell you is what kind of where are you at? What are you doing? What is the I hate using this term, but the mission set for us here in somewhat urban, somewhat rural Kansas is going to be completely different if we live downtown Kansas City or Oklahoma City or, God forbid, New York City when this all goes down. So I think the first thing to do is identify your area and do your area studies, number one. It doesn't have to be a fancy production, but then start figuring out what skills you need to do to freely maneuver in that area and also how to survive, essentially. And it doesn't, the quintessential thought process of this, well, if this goes to hell, I'm going to grab my, grab backpack, go to mountains and survive, which, we don't have that here. Here in Kansas, we don't have that. We have flat fields, we have some rivers, we have some really okay-ish hills. But more likely, if society was to collapse, our society, our little community would rally together and dare I say Jericho it. If you watch them, compared to if you lived out, if you were guys that were living up, in when I talk about rural, I'm talking about rural Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, where I don't have another person 400 miles from me, so I need to figure all this stuff out.
Yeah, and it's not even realistic to like, oh, I'm going to bug out because like myself, I've got 40 acres in Wyoming. I can totally bug out to my property out there. Well, okay, great. Currently, like if it dropped tomorrow, I have a mobile home that's on there that has 50,000 holes through it from, just degradation over the years. So it's not going to keep the cold out. It is at an elevation that you really can't grow anything without a greenhouse. So I don't have that going for me. There is no water source within probably a mile of me. So
figure out what the water table is in your area.
So it is very high. Or
dig sand wells. So this is stuff that this isn't the sexy stuff. This isn't the having your panos and having your your Gucci'd out block 4 Mark 18, whatever block we're on now.
I don't either.
It's the how can you take a map? Do you have a map? Can you read a map? Can you understand where water sources will and will not be? Do you have the resource? The amount of people that understand, you can go to your every county has this. They have a mapping department. You can go there and pay some tech nerd $20-$30. He'll print you out whatever map you want, water tables, GIS map, all sorts of maps, and it's relatively inexpensive. But having that understanding of where your water tables are at. So if you look at your property, can I dig a sand well 20 feet? It's going to take 30 feet. It's going to take 40 feet. On my property, it's like 15, 20 feet because I'm in a little valley right near the river. So digging a sand well for me has been very easy.
Yeah, and I know that my water table is going to be easy because the land is in between like two pretty decent sized reservoirs. So in some cases it's as low as like 5 feet.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if that's going to be on my property. I talked to a guy who digs wells in that area, and he's like, we probably need to go 60 feet to be safe. But even still, 60 feet is not very far.
No.
In comparison to a buddy of mine who lives in the Ozarks, and he said that he has to go anywhere between 400 to 800 feet to
400 to 800.
Yeah.
Okay. It's either 4 feet or
no,
800.
No, 400 to 800 feet. Yeah, down to get through all of the rock just to get to the water table.
So that's those are very easy things that, and it's you don't have to take a class. You don't have to spend hours. It's essentially go on YouTube, learn a little bit, and just go execute it. Go do it on your property or wherever you may live. And this is talking to more of the people that have some sort of property, like half acre lots. If you live in the city, learn get your, I think it's called a Silcock key. It's a little tool. I have one in my bag. I don't have my bag in here with me, but it's all major cities, instead of having with the water spigots, they don't have an actual spigot. They have a key that you have to use, and they assume that no one's going to have the key. Well, you can go to a Home Depot and take, I think it's like $10-15 and go buy it.
Yeah.
And you can open a lot of those different waterways, or those spigots. So
maybe put together a small 48, 72 hour pack that would
just hit the crap out of so that's going to be great.
No, it's all right. It didn't seem like it registered, but put together a 48, 72 hour pack that has certain things.
I would almost say if you are even remotely concerned about this stuff, a backpack should be part of your everyday life. And I say backpack as someone who's gone overboard. Be realistic with your daily needs. I went from I started this entire journey with like a GoRuck GR 340 liter backpack for I'm going to go run to the office today and throw it in my truck. Monstrous backpack, huge backpack. It dropped down to a Kelty 32, and then it dropped down to a GoRuck 21, and now it's just a simple messenger bag. Yeah, and it's then you just pare down. As you get smarter and have that software, you realize you can replace the hardware with that software. So
that messenger bag's what, like 15 liters?
I don't even think it's that. I think it's
because that MFT Acro, I think is what it's called. It's a 10 liter, and I've got an entire IFAC in there, plus my flashlight. I can still fit my wallet, my keys. It's got a SIG P365 XL in it as well, and I still have plenty of space.
I think
that's with 2 tourniquets as well.
I think mine's a 15 liter, but I mean, in mine, I essentially carry a coffee mug, a aluminum coffee. I carry like a coffee thermos, my water bottle, a separate titanium like camping mug, lock picking kit, the basic cords that you need to power all your stuff, battery banks, and laptop. I mean, that kind of stuff. And it doesn't have to be super Gucci, super sexy.
No, it doesn't.
It just needs to carry some basic stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
And a boo-boo kit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm big into first aid stuff right now. That's kind of like my biggest go-to when talking to anybody, because I think it has to do with, that's probably my weakest point, not to say that I'm an expert shooter. I went to the IDPA match last night, and even using like a $2,000 pistol, I still managed to come out.
How much that thing's it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
I did not know that. Like, to be honest, I got the Oracle mixed up with that Strybox. So,
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
So when you said, like, you handed me, I'm like, this is a Croatian gun. It doesn't feel like a
No.
Does it take Glock mags?
No, it takes SIG P320 mags.
Ooh.
Well, the Glock mag 2311 has already been like patented by someone else, so they had to go with a different type of magazine. Plus, people like steel mags better. But the whole point is, outside of shooting and some of the gaps that I have in that, the next biggest thing in my inventory that I'm most concerned about is medical. And I hate to harp on it time and time again, but medical is going to be the downfall for a lot of people. Now, the reason that I even kind of get involved in that so much is not too long ago, beginning of December, took a deer from our mutual friend's land, and I really do appreciate him allowing me to come out and take a doe. Got it hung up into my garage and started processing it, took the meat off the bone, all that type of stuff. I was almost done.
And it took some meat off your bone.
I did, yeah. I damn near sliced my finger to the bone with a fillet knife, and it's healing. It's healing pretty good. I don't have to wear Band-Aids or anything right now.
Still have a thumb.
Yeah, but I have, about 1/8 of an inch less of a thumbnail, and probably about 1/16 of an inch less of a thumb because of it. And that was pretty much my awakening at that point. It was like, how would I handle this in a situation where I may not have clean water? I may not have X, Y, or Z, to help facilitate this. I may not have the certain types of alcohols or hydrogen peroxide, which apparently you're not supposed to use on cuts. Did you know that? According to our doctor friend, Robert, he was like, don't use hydrogen peroxide on cuts because that takes out the good bacteria. Yep. It takes out the bad, of course, but it takes out the good as well. And those are some of the types of things that I just don't know,
And that's what's so crazy, because when everyone talks about medical, more often than not, they're talking about TCCC, stop the bleed, these big catastrophic, the trauma that you get from getting shot, stabbed, like in some sort of violent encounter. No one talks about, hey, you cut your thumb doing this. What, should you use hydrogen peroxide? Should you use Neosporin? What's the best way? Do I air it out? Do I just let it go? Like that sort of this, when we talked about this in the medical thing, that is the stuff that you should be starting with, the boo-boo kit stuff.
Yep.
Understanding, what the difference between Tylenol and Midol and Advil, like what do you use for which situation? And those, and what's so crazy about this, that's not something you have to take, a $400 or $500 class and have some guy explain it to you. This is all something you just need to look into it a little.
Yeah,
just
that's good.
Gander into it.
Yeah. I think outside of that, the next thing that personally that I wanted to become better at is gardening. I mean, that doesn't sound really cool or anything like that, but
the gardening part's not the hard. It's what to do with it afterwards.
Yeah, that's
the canning.
Well, I don't know.
A monster.
We really we struggled outside of tomatoes. Yeah, I didn't have any problem with tomatoes.
Yeah, tomatoes grow. That's why they're
pretty much a weed, But we did some bell peppers. Struggled with those. We had some type of rodent get into my eggplant. I had these
probably rabbits.
It wasn't a rabbit. Well, we found it, and it was like a marmot or something.
Oh yeah. We have them around here. Muskrat, I think, or
something like that. Yeah, I can't remember what it was. I looked it up, and Nan and I were just like scratching our head. We're like, "That's here."
Or could have been groundhog.
Wasn't a groundhog? Nope.
No.
It had big, long, freaking teeth. I think it was like legit, like a marmot.
Oh.
Anyway, so we struggled with those, and cucumbers did okay, but we want to expand the garden a little bit this year.
Grow potatoes.
Man,
Super easy. Super easy.
Yeah. Yeah. So
You literally, this is how easy potatoes are. You take a potato that's, when you like leave a potato in the closet for a little bit long, it starts grabbing those eyes.
Yep.
Take that, cut it up, and it doesn't have to be like half inch or inch cubes. Stick it in the ground,
How far in the ground?
a couple inches.
Couple inches. Okay.
It's really that easy, guys.
Yeah.
Potatoes are really that. There's a reason why an entire nation survives, or several nations survived on potatoes.
Yeah, and why the Irish almost didn't survive because there was a famine, right? So what are some of the other crops that we should, tomatoes, potatoes, cucumbers?
And this is all our property, and the fun thing is you have to do your area studies, and
That's a good point.
is you have to understand what grows great, what doesn't grow great, how to look. I mean, what kind of soil do you have? What soil composition? And that's a little bit of gardening, a little bit of the area study side of things. But like we have really good luck with watermelon. Watermelon, it's called volunteer right now. We planted it, and every year it comes back.
Oh, okay.
We don't have to do anything. It just shows up. It's there. We can eat what we want. The rest kind of just go wayside. We actually feed the neighbors' goats with it.
Some people would call that perennial.
Perennial, yeah, but we don't. We call it volunteer. Perennial is more of it sounds weird. It's for flowers. It's not for vegetables.
Yeah.
We have great luck with that. We have peppers and tomatoes do great for us. We don't do zucchini and squash anymore because Katie's extremely allergic to the plant. She's not. She's not allergic to the actual fruit,
Yeah.
but the leaves and everything. Like we found that out a couple years ago, and the biggest way we found out was so on our garden she just started breaking out terribly.
Yeah.
And it was because of those. So we have
It's like the oil from the leaves.
I really don't. I think it's actually the leaves have like tiny little needles in them.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
That are covered in whatever oil. So we on our property we have the family garden, then we have a separate garden, and that's where we grow that stuff that someone else takes care of for that. Those do really well for us. We did corn this year that turned out okay.
Really?
Yeah. Corn's just one of those you have to know how to grow corn. It's not something you just plant in the ground and Pocahontas lied to you. It's not you just put it in the ground and it comes up. It takes a lot of effort to get those work, or at least to be worthwhile. We do peppers, we do watermelon, we did squashes and pumpkins. Again, our pumpkin is our volunteer every year. I don't have to plant a damn pumpkin seed; it shows up every year.
But you have a pretty good size space. So probably what?
I think we measured it. I think it's like, I think we did like 55 by 75. So
feet.
Yeah.
Yes.
55 feet by 75 feet. I don't know what that translates into normal people talk, but.
So what I have is like, I think it's 4 feet by 8 feet raised. And then we're going to expand on that.
Raised beds for those that have limited space. Raised beds are great.
Buckets
are great. The other one that I saw that I tried this year, but it didn't turn out that great. And I think it was a me thing, not the plants thing. Is the potato towers.
Oh right, yeah.
Did I show you that?
Yeah.
So
I remember seeing those. Yeah.
So I got to like 3 layers and then it stopped.
Yeah. That was actually really interesting. So those are a number of different things that me personally trying to expand for 2024. Those are the expectations. Those are the areas that I'm looking into. I don't know if there's specifics that you're looking into.
For me, I'm kind of focusing more on for the training I'm looking at is it's still kind of the it's not the basic pistol courses. It's not the it's more of kind of the niche skills. The one I really want to go to Centrifuge Centrifuge is hosting a class in Colorado called Well That Sucks, and it's fighting while wounded. We're seeing if I can go to that. Craig Douglas with Shiv's Works. I want to go take like the extreme close quarters concepts course. Keep on trying to go out and see Brett Newmeyer for one of his classes. Tusk is still something I want to do. Financially, probably won't happen this year. And those guys are like smart. They don't post their pricing on there. You have to, if I remember correctly, you have to email Darcy explaining like what classes you want to go to, and then they send you the price. So it's already I'm already kind of vested into it. I had to send an email, so at least I don't want to. It's very easy to go on a website like, well, that's expensive and X out. It's another thing to email somebody and then have that conversation about it and then try to back out from it. Yeah. So,
and then I'm sure that they try to sell it as well. Yeah.
So Darcy. So and I think it's next October. They have Darcy, which is 5 days. Sorry, Darcy has Tusk, which is I think 5 or 6 days. Then it's like a day or two off, and then they have Tusk Designated Marksman, which is a very similar class. Only I think they take it to, or they take that same concept and specialize it down to now you're the designated marksman for your group and how to be that asset for the next people that come out for it. So, so that's that, and then want to do a little bit more of the lock picking entry stuff. I know I just looked at Cloaked Entry Company. They're starting to add some night stuff to it, and then. This personal studies is always is area studies. Area studies are really that's something that kind of came out last year. I know a lot of the guys that work in the kind of the intel word's not the right word I want to use, but the Brainiac community behind it. It's where it's more of not learning about it's the understanding your operational environment. So it's instead of hey, go buy a gun and learn how to shoot 100 yards, like hey, here's what if you needed to do that, what does that area look like? Do you even need a rifle that shoots 100 yards? What do you need for that situation? What other skills do you need to do better? And luckily with where we live, a lot of the basics will cover everything we'll need, since we live in a rather rural but also very urbanly rural community where there's a lot of resources that you can tap into, and it's not as difficult it would be to probably survive like in New York City or something like that.
Right. So it's very I think the technical term is urban sprawl is what they like to call it.
I don't like urban sprawl because I every time I think of that, I think of how Kansas City is, where you have Kansas City and then you have like Baser, you have Bonner, you have we are far removed from that. We are one of those. We are fortunate enough to be close enough to the big city where we have access to it when we want to for like the weekends and go shopping and everything. Yep. But we are far enough. We're like 2.5 hours away. I think once you get past the hour mark of urban sprawl.
That's fair, I guess. Yeah. I mean, you well, not for you, but for me, 5 minutes, I'm on a dirt road, for you, that's like
5 feet.
Yeah.
Actually, like to get to my house is a dirt road. So.
Yeah. So, but there's that. So anything else on that topic?
Nope. I think that's really about it.
Cool.
Build family, build relations, build community.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's going to be always number one priority.
Yeah. So one of the other things that we were going to talk about was SHOT Show 2024.
Yeah. The last one.
Yeah. So Jefe's first experience was 2023 SHOT Show, and how did that go for you? Was it exactly what you'd expected?
It was a lot of work. It's not knowing what I do know. It's work. It's unfortunately that's what it is. It's a lot of fun work. You don't feel like you're working. It's a lot of talking to people, and if you don't have those if you don't have that soft skill of just talking with people, SHOT Show kind of sucks because you show up, you look at a booth, and you're like, "Cool, this is stuff." Yep. Anyways, I'm going to go to the next booth.
Yeah, that was like pretty much the first 5 years of my SHOT Show experience. Oh wow, because a lot of people don't realize this. I'm a pretty big introvert. Like I don't have the necessarily gift of gab with a stranger. I don't know how to like break ice or what questions to ask.
build rapport.
Exactly. So I can tell you that 2023 SHOT Show, Jefe really saved my butt on more than one occasion, because right where it kind of got to that awkward silent stage, he would drop in a question, and I'm just like, oh man, that's
find
so
dumb things
smart.
to ask about, man. That's really about it. Is you hear weird lulls like, so do you make this in China, or do you make like where do you make this?
Yeah. So what are some of the things that you're hyped up to see?
I think the biggest ones is it's, and I feel this is sort of the cliche answer. It's just the people. You meet some really cool individuals out there. Outside the trade show stuff, you make a lot of great connections with individuals. There's a lot of great opportunities to not only expand your knowledge, but at least get into some industries that you never thought you would get into, or get into something that you didn't essentially plan on it, but turned out to be pretty cool. And then also it's just for me personally, I like as you talked about that challenge of just cold. It's that cold call, going in and talking with somebody, and at the end of it, see what you can get out. That sounds really bad. See what you can get out of them, but be able to hold a conversation with people, to actually do that communication, to actually practice these soft skills. I use that correctly now.
Yep.
Practice those soft skills in a target-rich environment.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to talk to you. You got to talk back. Now, if
exactly.
if you have a hard time with communication, SHOT Show is a great opportunity to practice just the rapport building, the talking, the
No.
interviewing, I guess.
That's the kind of the interesting thing about the paradigm between what I'm looking at and what Jefe's looking at when it comes to SHOT Show, because like before we even started recording, I said, what are you excited for? And he started talking about stuff, and I was like, I'm excited that our very first interview is with Zastava. And I'm a huge Zastava fan. I have 3 of their rifles in Minecraft. I have had over the course of the last couple of years 5. So maybe we can get one of their Dragunov.
Out. Well, yeah, because we went to the booth last year and they had it wasn't the Dragunov, it was like the
M77, the 308.
Yeah, it's like the 308.
Yeah,
it's essentially I had one for a little bit of that here. I don't remember who makes those now off the top of my head. It's a Russian made. It was a Russian made AK with like a elongated receiver, and it shot 308.
Yeah,
and it kind of was mocked up to be a sporting version of a AK long Dragunov looking thing, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever until you realize that it wasn't. But,
yeah. But I'm excited for them because that's a relationship that I really want to foster. I know that I'm starting to find that Zastava really gets kind of crapped on by the AK community because they're like, their manufacturing is just subpar, and I'm like.
I feel like every AK is subpar. That's the whole reason why.
I was like, well, have you seen a Visca?
Visca, the PSA. The hard thing I have with the AK community is I'm going to preface this like I understand there's some dangerous things with things like the Viscas with the frag remaining the front trunnion. But the whole purpose of the AK was, hey, we can do these shoddy machining processes and still produce a functioning rifle. Now, if you
shoot tens of thousands of rounds, if
you want, the creme de la creme of AKs, and you go get like an Arsenal, or you go get, a custom made one, or like a Fuller. Yeah, you're going to have a very beautiful, well functioning rifle. If you go to, Jim Bob down the street and who's put together a Romanian parts kit, I mean, there's a reason why people are making these in their garages. They just work.
Yeah, and it's like a Wasser. It looks like Edward Scissorhands put it together, but it's a workhorse. And it's going to shoot for a very, very long time. Regardless, it doesn't matter. I have really enjoyed my Zastavas. They've been a lot of fun. But that's
the
one
PSA booth was a lot of fun last year. Too,
yeah, they're always a lot of fun.
Especially when they start, because they didn't really tell anybody about the STG 44. They didn't really tell anybody anything.
Nope.
You showed up and wait, what are these mad lads doing?
Yeah, I might give my contact a call and just be like, hey, can you give me a hint? This is just between you and me.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that I jump in on it as quickly as I can. What's like the one thing you guys are excited for? And don't say MP5.
I still hold out. I'm hoping and praying.
You shouldn't.
One of these days is going to pop.
No.
This could be it. This could be the year of the MP5.
It could be the year. It could be the year.
It's been 8 years. I think it was 6 or 7 years now.
I think the first year I remember seeing it was SHOT Show 2018, and that's when they first started talking about it. And then the next year is like, yeah, man, we just want to make sure we get it right, you know. So we're holding back on it a little bit. And then the last time I talked to someone, it was like, yeah, that's been shelved.
Yeah,
so
shelved, but not canned.
That is true. Yeah. It says shelved. So PSA is always a lot of fun. I
want to see what Keltec is coming out to. I wonder, you think if I was the media guy at Keltec, I would, as a joke, at the booth, just get a big old bowl full of creatine powder or something. Yep. It's like, oh yeah, it's free cocaine if you want to take it. And if you come with a rifle plan, send it our way, please.
Maybe have a scantily clad lady in high heels walking around.
I mean that's everywhere at SHOT Show.
Well, yeah.
I want to find that. There was a booth last year. We talked. I don't remember. It was like one of those free beer ones, and we ended up talking to some swinger couple.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, we were just standing there, and then all of a sudden, I think we were with Kyle, weren't we?
No, it was just you and me.
Was it?
I don't think we met up with Kyle just yet.
Yeah,
because we were standing there, and it was a guy who does calendars. Was it a
Yeah. He does.
Calendars.
He does some type of calendar for the firearms industry, but we were just so happened to be standing there. We had just got done with something else. We were standing in the middle of a walkway and trying to figure out what we were going to do, and then we turn around and it's like, oh, it's free beer, so let's grab a beer on the showroom floor of SHOT Show. And then we started talking with this couple, and it's one of those situations like, okay, well, we got to go.
Besides that conversation, there's this bunch of weird things that happened. The first night we accidentally found the FPC party and had a great time there.
Yep.
Theguns.com last year was a ton of fun.
Yeah. We got to talk to Tig from the Benghazi group. Mm-hmm. The guys who survived Benghazi.
And when you say talk, I saw him. I was intimidated by him, and I said hi, and I think that's all. We didn't really have. Did we?
Yeah, he talked for a long time. Oh, he did most of the talking.
Yeah,
he had his new service dog with him, which is a beautiful Malinois. He started talking about his run for some type of political position. I don't know if it was Congress or if maybe it was the state Congress for Texas.
Yeah, somewhere in one of those Texas guys.
Yep.
And then we also met Caleb with Commando Bond. There.
Yep.
Very briefly, but
yep. So
I think now that I'm thinking about that night, I think I know he was. So if you remember, I kind of grabbed him as he was walking by with two other guys. I think I know who those two other guys were now, and it was
his bouncers.
No. If I remember, I think one was Nate from Seaburn Art.
Oh,
and I think the other one was BR from Seaburn Art as well. I think it was. I don't know. But
that'll be interesting to see if we can run into them because Nate is now following me.
Yeah,
which I thought was really cool.
This is my plug. It was so great. We met with Nate at, I think it was GOA. Was it the Gun Overs America booth?
Yep.
We talked to him for a bit, and I gave him a patch, which he thought was cool. He interrupted me, never let me explain it, but I get it. He was really busy. And then, so we were talking for a bit. He asked me for my phone. I gave it to him. He added himself, his Illustrator Nate, his like personal Instagram on my phone, and then he asked for Mark's phone, and then he followed Steve Bernard on yours. Or he like accepted it there. So like I got Nate's personal one, and Mark got the generic. Oh, here's
yeah.
So.
Well, and that's because of Hefe's gift of gab is he did basically all the talking.
That's fair.
And I'm just like it was almost like Jefe was the face of Fit and Fire at that point, and I'm just like, hey guys,
my parents are talking.
I'm just happy to be here.
And go play Fortnite now.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Ian McCollum.
Yeah.
Met with him, asked.
Yeah.
Out of all the questions, it was like this food court. I grabbed him real quick. I said, "Hey, talk to me about Raptor head shotguns." And I felt like he was super offended by it because out of all the knowledge he has about, antique collectible firearms, all this unique stuff,
books that he's written,
all this stuff he's done, some guy with, 2 brain cells comes up to him and asks about Raptor head shotguns because he did a video with Brett Newmeyer.
Yeah. It was so funny to watch too. I didn't even move. I stayed at the table while Jefe jumped up and ran over there and talked with him, which is, it's cool because you get to kind of see. I don't know if this is the correct way to say it, but you kind of see the people that you look up to, and so that
you realize they're mere mortals.
Yeah, that is 100%. So needless to say, SHOT Show is a lot of work, and I tell people time and time again that there's a lot of fun things that happen for sure, but it is work. And for someone like myself, I'm up at 6:00 in the morning to get ready and pull myself together to get to the media room at SHOT Show, finish whatever editing of video that I did the previous day, and get it uploaded and ready to air. If it's something that is really interesting that I think needs to be put out immediately, I stop what I'm doing after that interview, go back to the media room, do all the edit, upload it as quickly as I possibly can. And the process goes day in and day out until we go home. And most nights we're up until midnight, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's self-inflicted because if I were to, lay out the SHOT Show day, it's, wake up, take some Tylenol and Advil,
Yep.
cup of coffee, take an Uber out to the floor. You hang out in the media room for, an hour or two, just, talking with other people, seeing what they saw. And then you're on the floor, you're walking. I wish I had some sort of tracker of how many steps we took.
Yeah.
You're walking, you quick bite for lunch. You walk the entire time, and then from about you go get dinner, do whatever after party stuff. Maybe you get invited into this sketchy room where a guy has a ton of guns and alcohol and a casting couch with a guitar.
Yeah. Yep.
Black collar. That was a fun evening.
That was
too.
fun. Yeah, and then the G-Force arms.
G-Force.
Guys.
Yeah, that was. But then you get back to the room at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and it's like, hey, either we need to edit something now, or we're waking up at 3 a.m. to edit stuff.
Yep, that's fair.
And I say we. I'm not the editor guy. I take a bunch of photos, I put it on a Google Drive, and I send it on its merry way.
Yeah. So
I go to sleep.
Yeah. So it is a lot of work. It's a lot of fun work. It's obviously a labor of love for sure. But I'm excited for SHOT Show 2024 to come around. I do dread it. Every year I dread it. But afterwards, especially 2023, I was like, I'm so glad that A, I did this, and B, that Jefe was along my side, because like I said,
you got 11,000 followers since last year.
It's something like that. Yeah. So, and I can tell you that just looking at the analytics on the video I just dropped, man, freaking that one video has turned over 50 50 new subscribers in like less than 2 days.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's amazing.
And
That's awesome.
it's great until you hear about dead internet theory, and then it sounds really depressing.
Yeah, there's that too. So,
But
let's talk about the last little segment that we've got here. We wanted just to hit on the concept, the idea of New Year's resolutions, especially when it comes to trying to plan out or set expectations for a fitness regimen or a fitness direction, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So my opinion is, and I don't follow it, but my opinion is that New Year's resolutions are dumb and they're a waste of time.
Yep. I'm the same boat. I understand the appeal to them. It's the new year, new me mindset is very easy to get into. But if you are really wanting to get started with either fitness or getting better into training regimens, why wait to the new year? And that's a little hypocritical for myself as well. I've kind of accepted that the holiday season from essentially like Thanksgiving to Christmas is kind of shot on any serious fundamental gains. It's just more of I'm going to enjoy time with family. I'm going to eat some good food, drink a lot of Glühwein, and just I say let the guard down a little bit, but relax. Still keep it's a maintain at that point. It's
Right.
not a build, and then once New Year's rolls around, it's get back in the saddle and let's get back to work.
Yeah. That's a better way to look at it. It's so cliche and cringy now, but the new year, new me, it shouldn't be that way. It should be, okay, we've had our fun.
Me.
We've had our fun. We've had our opportunity to spend time with friends and family and, spoil ourselves a little bit. Let's get back into it. It shouldn't be a new me because the new me, there is never a new me unless you're like, I don't know, unless you're like on a 4-year bender with meth or something like that. Yeah, then maybe there should be a new me. But realistically, for someone like Jefe, someone like myself, it should just be a improvement, not a new.
Better me.
Yeah,
new,
exactly.
New year, better me. And I think, again, I looked at the new year as a, like when you spend, for the last couple, like from pretty much mid-November to the new year, it's time for family, time for food, time for joy, time for celebration, and then it's the New Year's kind of that kickoff, like, hey, it's time to get back and let's get back to actually making a better version of me. And then that better version should be a year-long thing, and that changes throughout the year, obviously.
Yeah.
That's going to change, from, if you follow like the bulking, cutting seasons, goals change halfway through the year of, hey, I've hit my strength goals, now I need to focus on something else. Mm-hmm. But the new year should be a promise to yourself saying, hey, I'm going to start. I did really good this year. I really improved myself. I celebrated the family, my success, and now it's time to get back.
Yep. I think that's one of the best ways to do it. So what's your goal for 2024?
I think my goal is to be at a healthy 200. I usually sit like 200 pounds. I usually sit fairly comfortably at like 180, 190.
Really? And you're wanting to bulk?
Yeah, I want to bulk up
okay.
a bit. Last year was a lot more focus on like endurance and everything like that. Couple hiccups in health.
Sure.
Really ruined my strength goals, and so I kind of want to get back to focusing on the strength aspect of it.
Is the cycling that you wanted the thing you wanted to do?
Yeah, that's gonna get canned. Thanks a lot, fucking Army.
Okay, so but that's good. What is interesting is Jefe and I's physiques are completely different. Not physiques, but basically our
He's 5'5" and I'm 5'10". So.
Okay, first off, it is 5'6" 3/4.
Yeah.
Okay,
So when you start doing the 3/4, it's
but so I'm more stocky stature, I guess, and you're more, I guess,
Adonis.
quote unquote taller and lean.
Yeah.
Adonis, whatever. So for Jefe to be walking around at 180, that is just kind of whatever. But I'm more squatty and stockier, so. Some would say fat ass, but I was waiting for it.
No, I'm fat weighs muscle weighs more than fat. So
yeah,
someone sitting at 180, that's 40%. If there's someone's 5'10", 180, but sitting at like 40% BMI compared to 5'10", 180 sitting at 20. I'm thinking I'm like 22 or 23 right now, which is technically obese still, but those two individuals are going to look completely different.
Yeah, exactly. So
just remember, a pound of muscle looks a lot different than a pound of fat.
Yeah, that's 100%. So, but anyway, the statures of the two of us, when you have us standing next to each other, are completely different. So, obviously, him walking around at 200 pounds is going to look a lot different than me walking around.
200 pounds.
A good 200 pounds.
So So when I got into, we talked about this a couple episodes ago. When I joined the Army, I was being taped for being underweight.
Right.
I was like 100, and I think my first PT test I was like 118 pounds. I was like a scrawny little kid.
Jeez.
And so when I was getting out of active, my goal was to be taped for being overweight.
Yeah.
So essentially my workout routine was bench, deadlift, and squats. That was it. Mm-hmm. And the amount of peanut butter sandwiches, whole milk I was drinking, I got up to, I think, 215 pounds. And looking at some of the pictures now, it was not a good 215
No, it wasn't.
pounds.
I remember seeing those pictures.
So there's merit in being bigger,
mm-hmm.
but I'd say you can dirty bulk it. That's fine. Just do it smartly. I was strong as fuck at that time, though, too. But it was just one of those, I was, a lot stronger than I am now, but running a mile was not fun.
Yeah.
So
my goal is probably...
Yeah, what is your goal? Sorry.
The opposite of yours.
Uh-huh.
So where you're trying to get up to 200, I'm trying to get back down to... I would like to be back down to 170. Mm-hmm. A lot of it has to do vanity, I think. That vanity look. But realistically, my mindset, especially as I'm getting older, is I don't need to bench 315 pounds. Mm-hmm. I don't need to do that.
Nope.
And for me getting up in age, I'll be 46 this year.
Pretty much dead.
Yeah, pretty much. My joints just don't want to do that anymore either. So I would rather be a little trimmer and be capable of being a little bit more holistic in my fitness instead of just being insanely strong. I would like to try to do a half marathon at the very minimum this year, is run a half marathon. That is going to suck because I hate running. I've got a 5K coming up here in just the next few days, and that's going to be painful. And the what I was told last night was, how about we run to the 5K, which is at Annenberg.
That's not too bad.
And then run the 5K and then run home. And I'm just like, why don't we just do the half marathon and drive there? It's basically the same thing.
No, you are less than a mile from Annenberg.
It's the way that you have to run to get there is I think it's like I think Nan said it was like 2 miles.
If you go through the park, you should
from the house to the stoplight at Scenic. That is 1 mile.
Don't dox yourself too much.
Right? Yeah. So you can take there's a walking trail.
Yeah.
That goes down the hill.
Yeah.
So, but
where I used to live in an apartment complex at the bottom of that hill.
Oh, okay.
And one of my training regimens for the longest time was hill sprint.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that hill is a monster.
Yeah.
So it used to be run up to that, that red light, walk back down, run up one more time, and come back down, and it was atrocious. I was fast though.
The cycling route that we take is we take the left at the light, and then head down the hill, and then go around the airport, and come back, and we finish going up that hill.
Yeah,
and that ends up being just short of 15 miles, I think.
The route I was taking for a while for bike was, I think I can go from 10 to 20 miles depending on which turn I make. But the last was the hill going up to on my road.
Yep.
It was it was great. It's always great to watch your analytics. Like, yeah, you're holding like a good 15, 16 miles per hour. This is great. You get to that hill. Yeah, you're doing like four and a half.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're
upright on your bike. You're going so slow, you know?
So it's,
but, so definitely would like to try to do some type of like half marathon.
Yeah.
Nan did one this year. In 2023, she did a half marathon, and, she's like, okay, I did that. I'm done with that. The other thing is Bleeding Kansas is something I always want to try to do as well.
Did they cancel it this year?
They did cancel it. Yeah.
There's a couple in Lawrence that they're very similar that
yeah,
at the same time.
There's one in Abilene called Wild West. There's one up north in Marysville called the Pony Express.
Yeah.
So if this one doesn't happen, then there's other ones, obviously. But I definitely want to try to get one done.
Yeah.
So, and then on top of all of that, we've got, at least I do, I've got a lot of traveling for Kalash Bash and Kalashnikon, and we have SHOT Show coming up here real quick, and I'm sure I've got several trips to make out to Wyoming to, start getting the property like established. So very busy year for 2024. I hope that everybody's year out there listening is going to be the best that you possibly can make it. I would encourage every one of you to, at the very least, find that one thing that you need to improve, regardless if that is the software. So I got it right that time. Whether it be software, whether it be hardware, whether it be, your fitness goals, whatever the case may be, find that one thing and make a promise to yourself that you're going to fulfill that one thing for this year. So that's my last 30 seconds. Go ahead.
So we kind of alluded to, or we talked about it a little bit earlier. Let me just give me 1 second. Let my watch catch up. All right. So my 30 seconds. So we're in an election year, guys, so there's going to be a lot of news out there. There's going to be a lot of psyop going on out there. Take everything with a grain of salt, even for good or for worse. If you see something on the news, go vet it, go check it out if it's something that concerns you. But this is all just one big psyop trying to get everyone bases riled up and people angry. So keep a level head. The second that you lose your level head, you lose the fight. So
that's good. That's really good.
Exactly 30 seconds.
I would say that if you see a headline, dive down into about the 15th, 16th paragraph. That's usually where you're going to find the facts.
Go split your resources. If you see something on Fox, go find it on CNN. And I always advocate, if you listen to podcasts or you read news sources, try to read these articles from different perspectives.
Yep.
To kind of get that full picture. I'm one of those guys. I'll gladly tell everybody I listen to Tim Cass, listen to Ben Shapiro, and I listen to the last podcast on the left. If you listen to that every day, you kind of get a good gambit of what's going on, or find something on the left, something on the right, something somewhat in the middle, and and they all talk about the exact same stuff.
Yep.
Or you might miss stuff. There's some things that the right's talked about that the left's not talking about.
Yep.
I can't remember. There's an Instagram page that does it as well. They put out a news story and they show who's kind of looking at it. And they
Babylon
break it down.
B, is that what?
No. Those are just the
satirical. Yeah.
No, it's not satirical. They're the prophets of our time.
Oh,
they're calling things out before.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
So yeah, just Yeah, there is. I have to look at that page and send it to you. But it breaks down the independents, the Democrats and Republicans, who is looking at it and who is it more important to.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So there you have it. That is the first episode of season 2, the 2024 episode. A lot of things to cover in this one, and I really appreciate you guys making it this far in the podcast. So with all of that being said, please have a very good, profitable, and safe 2024. Naturally, we want to make sure that you guys continue to listen to the podcast throughout the year. So the only way to do that is to follow those steps.
And get ready for some guests.
Yeah, hopefully we can figure that out this year. With all of that being said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so very much. We do appreciate all of the support. Again, one last time, thank you to Atero Arms for sponsoring the channel. And we will catch you guys here in
the next year. See you guys next year.
There it is. Technically, it's already next year, but they don't need to know that. All right, guys, we'll get out of here. Thank you so much. And don't forget to live, laugh, and LARP.